Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you today. Yes, we have it. This is a cold steel Kris Voyager. It is a very large knife. You are looking on this very zoomed out camera angle of 12¼ inches of just pure cold steelness. I call this one the full Thompson. If you know anything about cold steel and the founder, Lynn Thompson, the founder, CEO, chief trainer guy, definitely a character. I'm sure he would not criticize me saying that about him. And he is big into like Filipino knife fighting techniques and stuff. The Kris blade, this wavy blade, is inspired by a Kris sword, the Kris blade sword that Filipino fighters and stuff use. It's very unique for sure. And he's known to carry 2 of these around. Sometimes I've seen, not particularly this one. This is a version of basically the Voyager XL. It's the same size as that. If you guys have seen those, a lot of people have those too. And they thought that was a crazy cold steel. You know, then he upped the ante with the Kris blade. So about the same size, but this one does cost quite a bit more. And I kind of see why. Same materials, AUS 10A, Grivex handles. A regular Voyager XL costs you about 70 bucks. These are like 110, but this blade, not easy to put a grind on. That is absolutely for sure. And they knocked it out of the park as far as that goes. We'll get to that here shortly. But yeah, it is designed to be a fighting blade. This particular blade shape is designed to cut very well into things that are a bit more sentient than cardboard. We'll put it that way, or at least formerly sentient than cardboard. But it is a very unique blade shape. It does look wicked cool, though. This is just a big, wicked-looking knife, and I'm going to giggle a bit in this video, and I do just want to say I am not knocking this thing at all. I actually do kind of like it in a very odd way, but it definitely is extremely well built. The AUS 10A that Cold Steel is doing for 110 bucks, I think that's completely reasonable. It's kind of a bargain. Get that, especially if you're paying per inch, you know, in the Voyager XL. But I have it on my 4MAX, which you'll see here shortly, and it's performed pretty well. I have it on the Airlight as well, and I've used both of those a fair bit now over the last month or two, and they hold up pretty well. Cold Steel always does such a good job on their heat treatment, so I'm not going to complain about that. Grivex handles aren't as fancy, but I can't really knock the price on it, and the look of it is just, it's the look of it, you know? If you just want a big old silly knife in your collection, pretty hard to go wrong with a Kris Voyager. You nailed it if that's what you have. A regular Voyager XL, that's cheaper. If you just want a regular Voyager XL with a more reasonable, they have what's called the Picaro blade shape, which is kind of recurvy, and then they have a Tanto. So if you want something a bit more normal, but still crazy, they're a lot cheaper. That makes sense as well. But this is the full Thompson. That is definitely what I'm going to refer to it as from now on. It's my full Thompson. But let's do some specs and size comparisons before we go too much farther. Size comparisons are going to be fun. Luckily, I have some other big cold steel, so we will see. We have, as I said, an overall length of 12¼ inches, blade length of 5½ inches, blade thickness, not as thick as I was expecting. I was expecting a full-on, like, you know, 0.16 or 0.17. It's 0.15, so it's still fairly thick, but not crazy. Handle thickness, also thick, but not insane, 0.62. And a weight of 7.85 ounces, which is not too bad for how big this is. The Grivex handles are really lightweight, so that's not surprising. Look of it is the look of it. There is a very aggressive pattern on the Grivex that you can see, this kind of little iron cross pattern almost looking. It does work very well. With one exception, which we'll get to shortly. But I think overall, it looks like what it looks like. You either love it and just want one, or you don't. It is very purposeful, and we'll try and get into that more. It is definitely designed to do what it's supposed to do, which is kind of be a big old sort of, you know, self-defense kind of knife. So, size comparisons. All right, we're going to start out with the normals, just because it's going to be fun for everybody. This is a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And we'll put the Para 3 up, I guess. Yeah, it's very big. We're going to bring up a couple Benchmates. I'm even going to go bigger on one of the Benchmates than I normally do, but you're still going to see that it's even bigger than that. We have the Presidio 2 CF Elite. which is pretty big for a Benchmade. And this just absolutely dwarfs it. And why not? We're going to put a bug out there. This is the full-size bug out. This is not the mini, I assure you. And we'll bring out a couple more fairly large knives, and then we'll bring out some actual cold steels, which are probably at least slightly more appropriate to compare this to. We'll bring out a Hinder XM18. Yeah. Dwarfies. And the Civivi Asticus, the name of which we are still not making jokes about. Yeah, the Asticus is a pretty long knife, and yeah, it's nothing compared to this. So now let's bring out some other cold steels. Let's start out with a fairly normal cold steel, and honestly, one of my favorites. Definitely my favorite that they've come out with in 2020. This is the Airlight, normal kind of 3.5-inch blade, you know, EDC knife. And then we'll bring out some of the big ones so you can really see. So we're going to start out with one that you think of. This is the 8010, which I love, the Cold Steel 8010. Just a big bruiser of a knife, and probably the biggest thing that I really like to EDC all the time. This is so much longer than that. And here's what was previously my token big crazy cold steel. That is the Formax Scout. Yeah. So that's a thing. It's thinner than the Scout. It's more slender than the Scout, but it is significantly longer than a Formax. It is a very, very, very big knife. So now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's try to actually review this as a knife, like a proper, normal, you know, knife in my usual style. I'm going to do all the usual stuff. I've only had this for a day, but I have been playing with it a whole lot. We're all locked in our houses right now. I had nothing else to do. I got it very early this morning, and I've been playing with it all day. Yeah, this Kris blade, it cuts extremely well. I do have to say, what it's designed for, it does. I didn't have a whole lot of meat to go hunting. I don't hunt. I live in a house and I buy meat. I didn't have any meat to go hacking at with or cutting with. That's primarily what it's designed for, but I will say it still cuts cardboard like amazingly well. Let's bring some out and show you here. Because every single one of these ridges I watched, like, you know, the videos with Kris Thompson, or Lynn Thompson, sorry. Kris and Lynn confused, and this is a Kris and it's Lynn, and I'm so confused. With Lynn Thompson explaining it, each one of these ridges is designed to cut, you know, a little deeper, and then you have the little hook at the end. As I said, it's more designed for more sentient things than cardboard, but it does work. He's right. You get kind of a wave. You do feel sort of a wave where it goes, it's cutting, and then when it really cuts, and then it cuts, and then it really cuts. So maybe not as precise as just a normal straight edge blade, but it does work really well. It does cut well, and they did an amazing job on this edge. I do have to say, it is completely even. Despite all these curves, it is totally even. The grind on it is just pretty perfect. I don't know how they could have done better. And that's the thing that Cold Steel does on all their knives. Their heat treats are always amazing, and their edges are always amazing. And this is no exception. It's probably, honestly, the best example I've seen of what they can do yet. It is made in Taiwan, but man, their Taiwan factory is just killing it as far as like heat treats and the sharpness out of the box. It was wicked sharp out of the box. It is a very usable kind of blade. That tip makes it a bit difficult to do things like open boxes, because it wants to dive right in, and you may accidentally, you know, try to open a package and cut the box on your Spyderco Sprint Run that you just got at the same time and feel very dumb. That's just, I've heard from a friend, but that might happen. Be careful if you're opening boxes with this thing, is what I'm saying. That kind of Slate Hawk bill at the end is it digs in really, really quick. As far as the ergos go, I mean, you got room. I mean, if you can't find a comfortable way to hold this, then I don't know what to tell you. You got plenty of room. I have large size hands, but skinny fingers. And for me, it works really well, you know, with using this forward choil and then just kind of dropping my pinky into this back choil. I can also just choke up like that, and it works completely fine. So if you have smaller hands, you're probably going to want to use it like this. Larger hands, you can stretch out just a little bit more, and you are super locked in. These little iron cross looking patterns are super grippy. You are really locked into this thing. Like I said, I've been using it either like this or like this. You can kind of two-hand it if you want to. I can get 3 fingers here on the back along with a full hand. That's how big it is. Of course, you know, you can reverse grip it, all that stuff. You have plenty of room to do whatever the heck you want to on this handle. It is very, very grippy, but and it can be, if your hand slides around a bit, it can be a bit uncomfortable. But this kind of knife, grippiness is what you care about. You're not buying this to be the most perfect ergonomic thing on the planet, but it is pretty darn good. You can't, again, this much real estate, you got to be able to figure out a comfortable way to handle it. You just have to. A little bit of jimping up here on the top, but it's kind of unneeded, because this handle is just so grippy. It just doesn't matter. Now, as far as the carry goes, yeah, we're going there. I'll bring out ye olde Wranglers just like usual. RIP ye olde Wranglers. No, they're not. These are the Mark IIs, but no, they're not going to die from this. So this is not uncommon on Cold Steels. There's other ones. The Recon 1 used to be this way. I've heard it's better now, but I don't know. There are a few Cold Steels, and I know the other Voyagers are like this, where this is just such grippy, very aggressively textured Grivex that... yeah, it's gonna, it does get a bit pocket destroy, absolutely for sure, but it's very easy to fix. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I can still get it in the pocket. It's gonna be a bit more difficult here because it's not attached to me, but I have been putting it in on my regular pockets today. So you heard the noise. It does still make some noise, but you get it lined up how it would normally be in your pocket, pushed to the side. I can get my hand past it. Like I said, it's not as tall as the 4MAX, so it's really long, but as long as your pockets are deep enough, I can get my hand past it okay. You do feel that Grivex if you get behind it. That's a bit rough, absolutely for sure, but I don't think I'd want to carry anything else in this pocket, but I could. I could probably carry like my wallet or a vape or something in there and be able to get down to it. It does very much fill the pocket, though. These are just, your standard size Wranglers, and yeah, that takes up all of it. That's all the way to the bottom, absolutely for sure. But you can carry, so you see there's room. There's room off to the side. It's just that is going to be a pocket destroyer. And obviously it is not a deep carry clip, because if you're carrying one of these, you're not trying to hide it from anybody. I think if you're carrying one of these, you have other things to say. It slides out easier than it slides in, oddly enough. But it is an easy problem to fix. I did it on my old Recon 1. Again, I've heard the new Recon 1's actually, Lynn himself responded on one of my videos and said that it's better now. They don't use quite as grippy of G10. They use the same grippiness of G10 that the Airlight uses, which is, is perfectly reasonable. Anyway, all you got to do, take this pocket clip off, or actually leave it on at first, and just kind of tape around it where it touches down. And then, especially being Grivex, it's not as nasty to sand, and just sand it down so they have a smooth spot, so this lands on a smooth spot. I kind of understand why they would do it from the factory, because this is a double pocket clip, so it comes with an extra pocket clip if you want to left-hand carry it. It is extremely ambidextrous, by the way, with the triad lock, and so that it touches in different spots. So just tape it off, just grind it down a little bit, and it's super easy. It makes it go around the pocket way easier. If you want to EDC one of these things, you can do that, and it'll make your life a lot easier. It's still, like I said, you can get it in and out of your pocket just fine. It's going to destroy your pants, absolutely. As far as the action goes, it's a big old triad lock. I like the triad lock. It is very secure. You can slow roll it. Probably if you have really tiny hands, that's not going to be as easy, because it is kind of a long roll. But again, with my fairly long fingers, it works fine. You can one-hand close it. Just make sure you have your finger way up here, because some Cold Steels will bite you. This one won't. You can see plenty of room before I'm touching any blade. Now, a lot of really hardcore Cold Steel fans say never one-hand close a Cold Steel. Well, I do. And you can flick it out. I said I wasn't going to laugh, but just listen to the noise this makes. For some reason, those Grivery handles just make it louder. that's a noise that's going to make somebody run. And that's kind of is a good lead into my conclusion. This thing it's cool. I mean, is it just insane? Yes, absolutely. But it's just cool. And like that big bang noise, this is like, you know, I've talked before about knives for that scenario we have that's never going to happen, where somebody breaks into your house, you know, and you have a knife on your bedstand. Yeah, this one's going to make some people run away. It makes that big loud noise. It's like almost as loud as racking a shotgun. And if you are someone who sleeps al fresco and, you know, you come running out of your bedroom naked with one of these in your hands, yeah, whoever that person is, they're leaving. They're going to leave the house. You're probably not even going to have to use it. They're just going to leave, because this is a big old scary thing. It has kind of, you know, a fantasy knife, a bit of mall ninja to it, but it's really well done. And that's another thing I'm going to say in the conclusion. If you are one of these quote-unquote mall ninjas, you know, who buys all these crazy, weird, you know, M-Techs and stuff, and you just like the big, crazy look of it, buy a Cold Steel. Like, they're actually great knives. Some of them are a bit wacky. Like this one, the design is a bit out there. How many say wacky? I keep me using derogatory terms. I'm not being derogatory. I really like them. And I'm glad they exist. And yeah, if you're the mall ninja type, or you just want something really crazy looking, or you collect fantasy knives, stop buying that cheap, you know, crap, and buy a Cold Steel. They have options. This is not even the only one of this Kris blade. They also have the Tylate, which is even longer, but much thinner. Go check out one of those. Longer blade anyway. I don't know if the overall length is longer, but or get a regular Voyager XL, something like that. Like, there are better options, and this is so cool in a way that I never thought I would have liked when I started this channel, you know, almost 3 years ago. And now I have evolved. I do like bigger and bigger knives. Am I going to carry this all the time? No, probably not. But I'm glad to have it around, and it's just cool. And it's $110. It's not a huge amount of money, and it's just pretty neat. It has replaced the Formax as my token big ridiculous Cold Steel. Does that mean I'm getting rid of the Formax? Absolutely not. And you're going to be shocked. Little spoiler alert. Watch my top 5 EDC knives that's coming up tomorrow of the month. I do the monthly updates. You know, watch that. But no, I love the Formax. I think the Formax is a more useful knife. If you want a big Cold Steel that you can actually use all the time, the Formax is a better choice. And it's the same price, but same steel, same handle material, just different pattern. I would not have minded just seeing this pattern on the Voyager, but the Voyager's meant to be a bit more extreme. But yeah, this has kind of replaced the Formax as my token big giant crazy Cold Steel, because I don't find the Formax that crazy anymore. So maybe, I don't know, I'm getting some kind of Stockholm syndrome or something. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this, because I'm sure as hell enjoying this knife. And by the way, thank you very much to Knife Junkie from a Knife Junkie podcast. Bob sent this on to me, Knife Junkie's podcast. I've appeared in that before. I hope to again very soon. And he hooked me up with this. He went up with 2 of them. He sent me one, and yeah, he ain't getting it back. This is a lot of fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.